Good morning, friends, wherever you might be, and welcome to today's Cichlids and Coffee. I appreciate you showing up and spending some of your Saturday with me. And if I can get a quick sound and video check. Denny, I know you said it was good earlier with the scrolling. We will be starting shortly. Is it still good? Let me know. I can't tell from this side, of course. I don't like running a monitor because if I run a monitor, I get a delay and a bit of an echo. Denny, sound is good, video is good. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So welcome, everybody. We have a few folks already on, and some are getting on. Let's give them a chance. And hey, Chris G, good to see you here. Salient Aquatics, like that name, Salient Aquatics. Not sure if I've seen Salient before. Thank you for joining us. Sundar, hey Sundar, India, good morning to you. Hey Cat Sailor, good to see you. Or Baglio, hello friend. Hey Denny, one of my moderators, and I think I saw John, another moderator, lurking around at T1 Dirty. Love these names. Hey Clarity Aquatics, and Brock G is here, and Canadian Watch Monkey. Now, you're going to have to tell us why your name is Canadian Watch Monkey. That's a great name. Obviously, you love fish. Fish. Here, fishy. Hey, Mexicali Fish Keepers here. Joe Provenzano is here. And hey, Oink Master Supreme Forever. Good to see you here. And let's see here. Yeah, there's John. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Angelo's here. Now, Blazek Michalski, good afternoon to you from Poland. And I am sorry if I butchered your name there. That's a great combination of letters, but not a combination I'm familiar with saying. But thank you for sitting in. Tech for Texas here. Hey. Long time no see. You're right. I think what it's been at least a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Fishy D Orr, blessings to everyone. Thank you for that. So, all right. Eddie Mendoza, Rav the Cichlid Keeper, Rick Brown. Come on in, everybody. Doors open. We're about to start. And Liljana, wow, what a great name. Liljana. Never seen that name before. That's awesome. Hey, Robert Egan's here. And Paulin65. Wow, a great group. Hey, Vibes. Good to see you, buddy. Another moderator. And Michael Welsh and Odilo Juarez. Well, you got some new names here today, Robert Egan. Okay, great. And YouTube said you want to throw a link to your Teespring store at the top of the chat. I said, why not? So there's the link to today's t-shirt. If you'd like to support the channel, that way you can. So let's go ahead and do the official start of the stream. And that means we're going to do that dropping logo. If you're new to the channel and you like what we do here, please don't forget to hit that sub button and the bell and the thumbs up, and that it sends a message to YouTube that something good is going on, and encourages YouTube to promote the channel to other fish keepers. A quick shout out to the channel sponsor, the Cichlid Shack in Tempe, Arizona. Once you go shack, you never go back. I don't know why that always makes me laugh, but use Shack Attack 10 for discount code on anything, food, plants, meds, Shack Attack 10, and then Shack Attack 15 if you order fish and it's over $100, not counting shipping. Shipping costs are simply passed directly to the consumer. They don't make any money on shipping. Actually, they lose a little bit because the boxes, I got a hold of what they pay for boxes and the styrofoam, and that price has almost doubled. So at any rate, use Shack Attack 15 for fish orders over $100. So there you go. We paid some bills, and a couple more things real quick, and then we will be commercial free, I promise. If you want to pick up mugs, coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and things of that nature, visit the Spring store, the Teespring store, and there is the link. And also, if you shop on Amazon, and who doesn't these days, use this link to get to Amazon, amazon.com/shop/Ben Ochart. If you use that link to get to Amazon, whether you pick up things from my fish store or not, anything you get on Amazon, because you got there using my link, gives a small credit to the channel, and it doesn't increase your prices one bit. So it's a great way to support the channel. So just quick bill paying. And one last thing. Big shout out to the Garage Gang. These guys, the Garage Gang, big shout out to the Garage Gang, my Patreon members, for their monthly support. This is the list of what I call Patreon founding members. Oh, yeah. And thank you to them for the wonderful support that they provide, making it possible for me to upgrade software, make trips out to faraway places and record, and keep my equipment up to date and all that good stuff, and of course build out the garage. So thank you to you folks. You folks are awesome. You're all awesome, actually. So let's quick announcement. We just went over 9 million views for the channel. Thank you to all of you for doing that. And we're just about to go over 46,000 in subscribers. So that rocks, my friend, and it is because of you. So pat yourself on the back. You folks really do rock, and I appreciate all the support over the years and all the encouragement. Just simply amazing. So yeah, 46,000 subscribers is right around the corner, and hey, 10 million. Wouldn't 10 million views be awesome? My son heard about it and said, "What are you going to do? How are we going to celebrate 10 million?" At any rate, exciting stuff. So I have a special video for you today, and I had to make some tough choices. When you're choosing the direction that you want to go in as a fish keeper, sometimes you have to make some choices that are not always easy. I remember when I made the decision to go with peacocks and haps, and ended up selling and giving away a lot of Mabuna that I had, and that was tough because a lot of those Mabuna I'd raised them up from little fry, and they were just beautiful. I had this this yellow lab that was absolutely gorgeous and was always moving around rocks and stuff, and I had a Pseudotropheus, a big purple. Man, he was just really aggressive, and nobody would eat until he was done eating. And I had a yellowtail, and just some great Mabuna. But because of limited space and budget and everything else, okay, I had to make the decision. Okay, I'm not going to mix them, and I'm gonna go with haps and peacocks, and ultimately what was referred to back then commonly as predator haps. And so I made that tough choice. Now I have more room, I have more tanks, I have more flexibility. At some point, maybe I might even have a Mabuna tank, but I hit a similar fork in the road recently, and I just had to make the tough choice. When fish continue, no matter what you do, continue to be what I call jerks. You either have to have them alone and dedicate an aquarium just to them, or you have to get rid of them somehow. And I don't suggest that you euthanize them. I mean, some people have told me how they've put a fish down, and I think there's a place for a fish, especially if they're a big, beautiful fish that just has an attitude problem. There might be an aquarium with the right combination that they'll be okay in, but it wasn't mine. And in the video, I'll share with you what occurred. And as a bonus in that video, you'll get a little update and tour of my local fish store, which is a great fish store, and it's where I take fish. And it is the Aquatic Critter here in Nashville. If you ever come to Nashville, be sure to visit the Aquatic Critter. They every time I go in there, it's something different. So I'll go in there to do something routine, like pick up some frozen food or something, and I end up taking film. And I've taken maybe, I don't know, 10 videos of that store, because every time I go in, they have different combinations of things. And so it's like a little bit of a candy store, you know, with a changing landscape. So let's take a look at this video that I made for you, and I hope you like it. I used some unusual music in it, and you can comment whether or not you like the music. And you know, I never get feedback on stuff like that, the music and things like that, but you tell me what you think. So here's a video that is only for those of you here on the live stream. Let's go ahead and play it. Well, I've talked about it in prior videos, and the time had finally arrived for me to rehome, to find a different place for several of my fish. Two of them I'll call the two jerks. One of them was the OB Skittles. Beautiful fish, great colors, an aggressive eater, great shape, but just can't play nice. Every time I put him in the tank, it'd be just a matter of time before there was trouble. So he had to go, and I'm hoping he ends up in a good home. But I had to scoop him up and take him over to the Aquatic Critter, and I also had to take his roommate, who lives in the split tank. I had to take the Vieja Zonatas also over to the Aquatic Critter. Again, a beautiful fish, great markings, great pattern, a pretty good eater, but whenever I'd put him with other fish, in just a matter of minutes, he would start in on them and make it very difficult for the other fish. And so I needed the tank. I'm getting some African cichlids sent out to me at some point that will end up in the 300 gallon, and I needed a place to put them. So it was time to go ahead and rehome these two fish. I did it with a little bit of regret, but I put a lot of time into them, and I'd grown attached, of course, to both of them, and I really liked the way they both looked. But I think it's for the best that they get a new home. I also went ahead and with a lot of effort, it's not easy catching an African cichlid in a 210 gallon aquarium, but with a lot of effort I was able to catch this Koengi, who was in with the hospital tank with the eye biter. He was looking a lot better, so I put him in the 210, but he immediately started to show some signs of stress. His body showed marks where he had been possibly hit by other fish, and so someone in this tank was giving him a hard time. When I wasn't looking, I had noticed who it was. If I had to guess, I'd say possibly the Strigatus, because they're similar, or maybe the living stone eye, because he does like to assert himself from time to time. So several fish. It could be one of several fish, but bottom line is he was looking like he was under a lot of stress, and again had sort of reverted back to not getting into the mix. When I feed the fish, everybody would attack the food, and he would just kind of hang off to the side. So I scooped all three of them up and put them into a bucket with some tank water and a cobalt pump, battery operated pump, and I went ahead and drove them out to the Aquatic Critter. It's about a half hour from my house. They have quite quite a setup there, quite a facility, along with a pretty good sized reptile section, which I've gone into from time to time. If you like reptiles, it's worth a visit. But let's go inside. I arranged with the manager a fair credit for the 3 fish, so I got a pretty nice store credit. So let's look around and see what they've got. Maybe something will catch my eye. They have larger tanks for sale than I've seen. I haven't seen tanks here this large, to 210, a 180. These are some of the biggest tanks that Aquion makes. Not a bad price, really. Just to the left of those tanks, they have the planted section. They usually have a pretty nice selection of plants. As you can see, their display tank, the bowed rainbow tank, usually has a lot more plants in it than this. They thinned it out, obviously. But the rainbows in here are usually really pretty, as you can see. Just a variety of them. They had some of those mats, those stiff sponges that you can use if you want to set up a sort of a DIY sump. There he is, living with a couple large plecos. I'm sure they'll sell him pretty quickly. Couldn't find where they put the obi or the coingi. They had some nice Oscars, little tiger, red tigers. Midas cichlids for $12.99. These guys are really cute, but I know how big they get. Do you folks think that a jewel cichlid would work with my South and Central American? Maybe in the more peaceful, along with the geos and the severums. Maybe put a jewel in there. I sure like the way they look. They usually have these fish in stock. Good looking fish. Here's some of those turquoise jewels. They have red tear tag on here, but I didn't see a red tear. But the turquoise jewels are very pretty. They have several varieties of jewels here. You'll see them. That's a good looking fish right there. Snow white parrot convicts. Real cute, but you'll see in a minute, they really like to get into it with each other. Right next to them, they had a red-tailed catfish. Someone will probably buy it and put it in a 10-gallon aquarium. I'm pretty sure the folks here at the Critter would tell them that they have to have a very large tank if they're going to get that red tail. They had fire mouths, and I don't know who supplies them with their fire mouths, but these are the prettiest I've seen. Bright ring around the eyes, great mark by the bottom of the gills. Nice red belly. Definitely on the short list of what I might do with my store credit. Figure 8 puffers, spotted puffers. So some of these are sold. That's a cute little guy. This flower horn was here last time. Just a beast of a fish. It's got to be like a foot long, maybe 6-7 inches tall, very wide, meaty. More puffers. Always looks like they don't use their tail much. This guy's already sold for $199. Look at him. He looks like a lizard. The head looks like a lizard. Very prehistoric looking. Hanging out behind the sold sign so nobody will mess with him. Now here's what I was telling you about earlier. Look how these guys get into it with each other. Really nice and cute, but cute looking, but full of attitude. I think I might have used this fish in the thumbnail of a prior video. Great colors on this show Midas. Looks like he has smeared lipstick. Love the orange red on the fins. Here's a kissing gourami with nobody to kiss. Gotta get that one a mate. Here's some more jewels, bigger red jewels. These are dwarf jewels. I guess they don't grow as much as the other ones. That's a very pretty specimen right there. Love the way they keep their bettas here. I've mentioned it in prior videos. These are my favorite kind of betta racks. Far superior to having them in small cups. And they've got a Mr. Mustard in there. You can see they get fresh water circulation. They have 3 of these racks, so a pretty good selection of betta. Look at these beasts. That's a beautiful bass. Look at this guy. I have no idea why the 2 of them haven't gobbled up some of the smaller fish that are in that tank. They must keep them really well fed. Beautiful spider frontos at the back there. Right next to that tank you have this waterfall pond setup. A lot of filtration going on there. In this pond they have some beautiful rays. I'm not even sure if these are for sale. Amazing pattern. They have several tanks that have fish and coral and things of that nature that are not for sale, like these 2. That saltwater display and this large bowed tank that's probably about 400 gallons, maybe more. Used to have a bunch of African cichlids in it. Now it looks like it's going mostly large frontosos. They have a very significant saltwater section and a lot of corals. I'm not going to walk through those today. I just don't have the time, but take one more quick look at the freshwater fish before I make my decision on what to do. Really like these tetras. Silver tips. They must have just got a shipment in. Quite a few of them in there. German rams and rummy nose. They haven't had rummy nose recently. I see a couple of them in there. I might have to scoop those up, add them to my to 3 I have already in the 29 gallon. Really like the look of these red-eye tetras, especially with that black bar at the base of the tail with white on both sides of it. Just a really good looking fish. I've had several of you recommend that I get parrots. I've never really been crazy about these. I love the true parrots. I love the colors on those. They have AC heckle eyes. I've got one of those now. I'll be featuring them in an upcoming video. Geo Jurapari is $50, but I don't see any in here. So albino sharks are good looking. Yarus. That looks like a geo. Some type of a geophagus right there. Red spotted severums. At some point I'll try some of those again. I just had a bit of bad luck with them. Good looking fish. I love the look and the temperament of the red spotted severums. Quite a few rainbows on display today. Great looking fish. They remind me of the Synodontis cats that you see in Lake Malawi. The way they move, their whiskers, always hunting for food. Very cute. Look at the belly on that one. You're seeing more and more of these Buenos Aires tetras. I think they're a good looking fish. Looks like they school. Probably want to get between 4 and 6 of them. We had some African cichlids, some fuscos. Love the pattern on young fuscos. And of course then they become very pretty and blue as they get older. They had some redfin borleis in here as well. They had a larger selection of Mabuna than I normally see. Great colors. Not a fish that I'm currently keeping. So I picked out some fish, and they got bagged up, and I got them situated for the ride home. I also picked up some frozen foods, some of the treats that my fish love, like frozen krill, bloodworms, and some of that Cichlid Delight product. So it was time for the half-hour drive home and get the fish acclimated. And I will go ahead and show you what it is that I picked up here in the live stream. Maybe you can guess by looking at the bag. But for now, you'll just have to stare into the eyes of Jack. This is Jack, one of my 2 beagles, and the dog that you see at the end of a lot of my videos, who thanks you for watching and asks you to watch one of the other suggested videos. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that trip to the Aquatic Critter, and certainly if you have any comments about that shop or about the decisions that I made to rehome those fish, we can certainly talk about it here in the live stream. And if you're part of the replay crew and you're watching the replay of this live stream, you can certainly comment below, and if I see the comment, I certainly will do my best to respond. Alright, so that concludes this video. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get back to the live stream. All right. So what do you think of that? And so they were very fair with me over at the Aquatic Critter. They gave me a good sized credit, and I was able. Of course, they'll sell the fish for probably 4 times the credit they gave me. But the fish are behind me, and I'll tell you what. The first person that and I want my moderators to keep an eye on this. And moderators, you can't play. This is just for everybody else. First person that can guess the fish, 2 types of fish. What did I buy? I'm gonna send you. If you're in the United States, I can't do this out of the country because it's ridiculous to ship. But I'll send you some veggie, a pack of Sarah Flora Nature veggie flakes. This is great stuff. It should be included in every fish's diet, right? Helps them to clean out their gut, gives them some good greens. It is dye-free, no preservatives, doesn't cloud the water, full of vitamins and minerals and all kinds of great stuff. So first person that guesses the 2 fish that I picked up. And Robert, thank you so much for that super chat. You came in early with a super chat. Thank you for that. And that's what reminded me of the Sarah food, your comment on Sarah. Yeah, it's great stuff. I love it. They've got a whole variety of stuff from Pleco Flake, from Pleco pellets all the way to cichlid food to community fish food, all kinds of stuff. Sarah's and it's a lot more than food. They have, of course, media. I'm going to be using some of their media in the sump for the 300-gallon. They also have filtration equipment. And I mean, if you go to their website, it'll blow you away. That's SERA. They're out of Germany. So thank you for that, Robert. Appreciate that. And I just want to mention something that Chris G, who's here today, mentioned during Cichlids and Suds. Now, I don't know who of you might have joined in on Cichlids and Suds. If you like that idea, let me know. Maybe I'll keep it going. We'll start it probably an hour earlier so it doesn't conflict with Dan and with Jason and Joanna over at Prime Time and Dan's Aquatics. So we'll probably start like at 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. That would be 5 p.m. Pacific. But let me know if you like that, Cichlids and Suds on Wednesdays, and maybe we'll make it a regular thing. And but during the Cichlid and Suds on Wednesday, Chris G asked the question about, can you vacuum too much? Now, I thought this was one of those questions like you hear, can you have too much filtration? Can you have too much? So I kind of went off on how I think yes. I mean, you can do too much, and you can go beyond what is needed and start to actually disrupt the tank or maybe disrupt the fish more than they need to be. But I missed the point of his question. The point of his question was, would it upset the balance of the tank, the beneficial bacteria, and perhaps result in an ammonia spike of some kind if you did too much, especially in conjunction with other things. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, if you do a real deep substrate maintenance or cleaning, and at the same time you mess with your filters, you go ahead and rinse out media and clean off some of the decor, things of that nature, there is a possibility that you will kill off too much. You will kill off too much beneficial bacteria and start the tank in what I refer to as sort of a mini cycle where some ammonia shows up. Now, it doesn't take a lot of ammonia, and the tank, assuming how heavily you have it stocked and what have you, the tank will quickly start to repopulate the beneficial bacteria. So it'll be just a momentary shock to the tank, and the fish that are the most sensitive will expire, can actually die in the shock. And then when you go and test the water, you'll go, wait a minute, my tests are coming out. I got 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite. My nitrates are around 20. What's going on? Well, the spike was very short, but it was enough to kill the most sensitive fish. I speak from experience, having done this myself, and embarrassingly, at least twice, I've done something like that where I tried to do too much too fast, and thorough vacuuming, decor, clean off the decor, and clean up a filter, rinse out some sponges, and rinse some media. And even though I think that second time I just put it all back together and topped off the tank again, and the next morning I had some very, very stressed fish who ultimately died. Now what I do is whenever I do any kind of a major maintenance, whether it's the cleaning of a filter, I'll do it as a standalone, just the filter, nothing else. I do have to pull some water from the tank if I'm going to rinse the media in tank water, and then that tank water needs to be replaced. So you do get maybe a 10% water change in the process. You can't help it. If I'm going to service a canister, or I'm going to do a big water change, I just do one thing, and I always will hit the tank with a little bit of Fritz Complete or Seachem Prime before adding water back in. So, or just in general, just to catch anything that might have, if there is a spike, it can actually neutralize it to some degree. So, Chris, I hope I addressed that correctly this time. And again, Robert Egan, thank you for that super chat. And let's take a look at your comments and questions. I'm going to scroll the chat here. Let's see. Hey, GP's here. Hello, GP. And Michael Welsh joined us. Let me see. We should do cichlids and suds once a month. That's not a bad idea. Like something like the second Wednesday of each month, or just a second or third Wednesday of each month, do a cichlid and suds. That's not a bad idea. That would be a little bit less stressful. I like that. I like that. Vibes Aquatic, what's everybody drinking? I'm drinking blood orange Italian soda. Blood orange Italian soda is delicious. I've had that. And Janelle Chu, pop. I'm using a new microphone. If you're referring to the popping in the mic, yes, there was a little bit of popping in that microphone. I'm using a new microphone and I'm dialing it in. It's different from this one. And there was a little bit of popping in that. I tried to turn it down, and some people notice it more than others. Let's see here. All right, so if you have some questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat, and I'll go ahead and pick them up now. And let's see. Fishy Dior, love the Nimbo family. I do too. You know the fish I can't get a hold of, Fishy Dior? I can't get a hold of a linny. I love the look of a Nimbochromis linny, and I haven't seen those around. I haven't seen too many polystigma either. So maybe those are becoming a little bit more rare, but boy, I'd like to get a hold of a linny. I will be getting a Cool Fins and Aquatics. He likes the beat. I'm glad you like that. One of you, I think, India, I think you called it mysterious. I am going to be getting a Fusco and another eye biter. I'm going to see if I can get an eye biter that's a little bit more sturdy. And I would like to replace that Kawingi. Kawingi is a beautiful fish. Not sure what was going on with the one that I gave away. And possibly a few other cichlids to go into the 300. So what I'll do is I'll put them into the 55 behind me, let them acclimate and quarantine, and then I'll transfer all the fish to the 300 all at once, along with a tremendous amount of beneficial bacteria, because I'll be moving over the deep substrate, and I'll also be moving over some sponges and things that I have, and also using some Fritz-Zyme 7 and other things just to make sure that the transition is very, very smooth. This week, I plan on doing a water test on the 300 gallon. I saw that one of you was asking about it. I think that might have been John Wallace. The 300 is going to get a water test this week, which means I'm going to have to finish gluing up all the plumbing and then have everything ready just to see, make sure everything works and there's no leaks. And once that's done, I will go ahead and drain it down and begin the process of adding substrate. And I'm going to be ordering up a very large amount because of the low KH that I have out of the tap. I've decided to put a bed of crushed coral. I'm going to order up probably six 40-pound bags of crushed coral, and that'll be the base of the 300. And then on top of that, I'll move most of what you see in the tank behind me. I am going to leave some of it behind and then put in some just some plain beige sand and maybe some of the black sand from Petco. But I am going to leave some of it behind, a little bit of aragonite, a little bit of crushed coral in a South American tank that has super low KH is not a bad idea to put a few minerals into the water. So I might leave a little bit behind on purpose and then just mix it up. So let's see here. Janelle, too. I have the polars. I absolutely love them. They have lots of attitude, but they don't hurt each other like the Mabunas and peacocks and other cichlids. They're good to know. Good to know. They're really cute. They remind me of those little panda cichlids. You've seen panda cichlids? Just very cute in shape. And how big do they get? I'm just kind of curious how big they would get. Fishy Dior, I need some Congo tetras. I do too. I do too. I'm probably going to order some up. When I was down visiting the cichlid shack, he had some beautiful Congos. He also got in a shipment of albino Congo tetras, and they were epic. I'm asking James. I'm harassing him and telling him that I want some albino AC Heckeleyes. Beautiful, beautiful fish. And I'm going to be leaving behind in the 90-gallon some of the more peaceful Central American fish, and including the Heckeleye. So I'd like to add some South Americas to that tank, and then move the more aggressive ones, the Salvini, the Vieja, the Nicaragua. Move those over to the 210, and leave behind the Surimanensis, the Geophagus, and I'll probably also move the Jack Dempsey over, and ultimately the green tear that is in this 55 here will go over as well. Chris G, I have red eyes. Well, you shouldn't stay up so late. And you're talking about red eye tetras, and those are very pretty. Love the way those look. Let's see here. Hello from Denmark. Hey, Kent. Ken over in Denmark. Boy, I hope to visit your country someday. You know, I was over in the UK, and the trip was about 10 days, but we decided to concentrate just on Ireland and London, and not try and do too much. But if I'd had more time, Denmark, Italy, Greece, Portugal, Spain, a lot of good places to see. Relatively close compared to the United States. Let's see here. Janelle Chu, love the Rams. I have some of them too. I have 7 tanks now, watching Ben and Primetime. I have the parents with my, oh, nice. So you've been able to breed them. You know, I've had, I don't know why, but I've had a tough time with Rams. I'm going to have to do a little more research on them. Maybe I need to keep the tanks a little warmer. Maybe I need to look at the mix of diet that I'm giving them. But man, oh man, I've just had a hard time with Rams, and they are absolutely beautiful. Golden Rams, blue Rams, I mean, they're just beautiful fish. Love their demeanor, love the way they move. So, Old Gamer, damn so expensive. In my country, a full-grown Oscar won't even cost more than $12. Wow, that's pretty good. If you're in Florida, you can catch an Oscar in one of the waterways and take it home. So you can get free ones in Florida. Kind of an invasive species, but $12, that's pretty good. Just so you know, I'm thinking about a red tiger and an albino lemon. Red tiger Oscar and albino lemon, and I would grow them out in the 55 and then switch them over to the 210. And I have become, I never really had an interest in Oscars, but when I was growing up, Oscars, it was always feeder fish, right? They'd go and get goldfish, they'd throw them in there, and it was just a big mess. And it looks like they've improved the quality of food now, and anyway, they appeal more to me, and the way they interact, big water puppies. So, what do you think? Do you think I can keep an Oscar, a green tear, a Jack Dempsey, and a Vieja, and a Nicaragua, and a Salvini? Do you think they could live together, or do you think they would tear each other up? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. All right, Gia Aquatic and Pets just posted my first video on my second channel, my style, my quotient. Cool, very cool. Why don't you drop a link, share a link. Now, I'm not sure if my channel allows links to be shared, but anyway, maybe you can break it up a little bit so it doesn't look like a link. And but anyway, share a link if you want. GP, that Midas looks awesome. You must be referring to the giant one. Yeah, he's a beauty. I bet you $1 it was a fish that somebody bought, and just like that other one, that show fish, that other big one with the lipstick on it. But it's a fish somebody bought, right, and then brought into the shop and said, "Look, I've got a 20-gallon tank. I can't keep this fish." And you see so many fish like that. True parrot is, yes, maybe you could put one in your 210. I've got 5 in my tank, and they are one of my favorite. Blazik. Can I just call you Michael? I just call you Michael. So, yes, I've seen true parrots, and they are beautiful. If I can get a hold of one, not really easy, not easy to come by. Chris G, yes, it is a very nice store. I am very blessed to have Aquatic Critter relatively close. I have another store that's about an hour away called Franklin Pet. Very, very nice store. Not as big, great selection, fish are in great shape, and the staff is super friendly. Way out in the country. So, Joe says fire mouths. Fishy Dior says rummy nose. Fishaholic, I think those snow white parrot cichlids were beautiful, and that's what you got. Joe and rummy nose. Oh, we have a winner. Joe got it. I've got one of those beautiful fire mouths, and I got a rummy nose. Now, I don't know if they're out. Let's see. They were hiding this morning. Let's see. I had to actually pull a rock out and dump it out because I was afraid maybe he had jumped. Oh, you can see the rummy nose. Very teeny. Let's see if I can get him. See the rummy nose there? Can you make out those rummy nose? They're kind of lost in that big tank. They're being quarantined in the tank where I had Skittles before, and then I'll move them over to the 29 where I have some other rummy nose. So I'll have a total of 5 rummy nose, and I just love the way they school together, and I love the way that red nose and the striped tail look. It's just a great combination. Now, that. Let's see, turn right here. Yeah, that firemouth. You know where he is? He's inside that cave. But he looked really good. I got him out of it this morning just to take a look at him, make sure he was all right. But you're going to have to take my word for it. He's in there. There's a firemouth in there. Eventually, the firemouth will go next door and live for a while here where I have that little green tear that I picked up from Brandon. You can see Brandon on YouTube. His channel, I think, is The Blind Fish Keeper. But there's a little teeny green tear in there, about 2 inches. Just looks beautiful. And that's going to be the tank mate for that firemouth until they put on size. And then I'll move them over, depending on the level of aggression. See what tank they end up in. All right, let's see. Any more questions or comments? Joe, I have your mailing address. Go ahead and send it to me again, because very often I don't keep personal information. So send me your mailing address to ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com, and I will get you some veggie flakes. Sarah Flora Nature, and you know what? I'll include a packet of my special mix. I have a special mix, a blend that I feed my fish. I have Sarah in it, Extreme. I have a Piscean Energetics, and I have a Cobalt Probiotics. It's a great blend, and the fish just love it. And I'll include a little baggie of that as well. So send me your send me your mailing information. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you ended up getting it right, but Joe was a little quicker. Oink Master Supreme forever. I would have loved to sever them, but that would have put me way over my store credit, and I have not recovered yet from our trip to Europe. We did it all on we were we could write a book, Europe on $10 a day. Not entirely. Blue Jewel, that would have been a great one of the jewels. Those jewels were beautiful. Now, do you guys and gals think a jewel would work? You think a jewel would be okay in my South American tank? Let me know. Joe says Cichlids and Suds was nice, but you need to get through more than one beer. You don't want me on more than one beer. Now some people are angry. They're angry when they drink. I just get silly, and you don't want to see me silly. GP, now I want a blood orange soda. I'm telling you, they're great. They're great. We were talking about beer, blood orange beer. They have a blood orange beer that's amazing too. IPAs. Let's see. Hey, social discussing. I'm back after 3 months away. I was burnt out and sold everything, needed a break, but miss it. Wow. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. And if you need any help, if you need any advice or tips or anything, I'd be happy to help you. And I even have some videos on burnout, and I'd be happy to just give you somebody to talk to at ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to maybe help you along with your new tank. If you do start a new tank, I am available. I'm actually going to be helping someone here locally named John set up a 125. He's bringing over a 5-inch electric blue Acara, a big electric blue Acara that was in his son's tank, and his son doesn't want it anymore. So he called me up and said, "Do you want it?" I said, "Yep." And I'm going to go ahead and help him with his a brand new 125 that he's going to be setting up. So, John, if you're listening, I am available, my friend. So welcome back, Social Discussing. Fishaholic, I'm glad that's working for you, my friend. There's a lot of factors at play. What's coming out of your tap, the stability of your, of the bacteria that might be living in the substrate. There's a lot of different factors to play. And when somebody asks me, I just kind of err on the side of caution. And but that's good. That's good. That works for you. That you can go ahead and clean everything. Lurking while driving, Mexicali Fishkeeper. Eyes on the road, my friend. I tell you, you want to. If you're from the United States, you want to get scared. Go into a car with right-hand drive, and every time they'd make a left-hand turn or we're going towards ongoing traffic for the first couple days, I would have a minor heart attack, and until I got used to it. Oh. Chris G. Jason was just saying fish waste and uneaten food will kill fish faster than over vacuuming, but I only meant once a week. Now, Chris, I heard something very interesting, and maybe you've heard this as well. I've heard that the waste that can accumulate, and this is not saying allow it to accumulate because it's ugly and right. It just doesn't feel right to leave it there. And there are always pockets in an aquarium where you can find under a piece of decor in a corner. There's always a pocket somewhere just full of junk, and I hate to see that. But I have heard, and you tell me what you think. I have heard that after a certain amount of time, the waste becomes inert. It neutralizes and can no longer impact the tank. It just sits there and does nothing. So anyway, so there's two sides to it. Do we need to hurry and get it out because it's deadly? or are we hurrying for no real reason except perhaps for aesthetics, for the look of the tank, because it bothers us? So anyway, I have heard that theory. John, thank you for sharing the Cichlid Shack link. Let's see here. Oink Master Supreme Forever. I just love that name. It was so good to meet you at Aquashella in Orlando. Oink Master Supreme Forever. Ben, as a rescue group in a 125, I have a firemouth with 7 blood parrots and 3 Texas cichlids. They are my greatest aquatic joy. That firemouth is gorgeous and gets along well with everyone in the tank. Very, very nice. Now, I thought about getting 2 or 3 of them, but I heard that if they pair off, they can become very territorial, very protective, aggressive. So I only picked up 1. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Do you think I should actually add more firemouths? Didn't you think the firemouths from the Aquatic Critter, weren't those beautiful? They have that luminescent green around the eye and just a real bold spot at the base of the gills and that red in the back. They're just beautiful. I don't know where they get them from, but they're gorgeous. Zen Ginger in the house. Do you foresee yourself attending any fish events in the near future or even distant? Just curious, as quite a few are coming up. I thought about Aquashella Dallas. It really gets down to, honestly, money and time. With a 300-gallon project, my trip abroad, and the expenses I have coming up, I'll give you an example. The substrate, because I decided to go with a fair amount of crushed coral in the 300. That's not something I could pick up at Tractor Supply or at Lowe's. I went with the crushed coral, and so I'm going to have about a $200 in just crushed coral. So this stuff starts adding up, right? Almost $200 for the sponges from that I put into the sump. Now, that being said, I do get some help. I got a very good discount on the Shisei pumps. I got some help from Sarah on the media. So I do get some help as well, and I do get a lot of help from the Patreons and things like that. But it just gets to a point where I go way over budget, and so that's the reason. Belly up. Belly up. People have recommended I get a red devil, and you're describing yours as a psychotic monster, but beautiful. Well, it sounds like a fish that you need to have in a dedicated tank. And up to you hear the FX6 in the background? Maybe not. Every 6 or 12 hours, the FX6 will purge air out of it, and people who are not familiar with that, they panic. Let's see here. Z-Zip, I lost a 14-year-old opaline gourami. Wow, 14 years old. That's amazing. Well, it looks like he had a very nice long run, but you're right. I mean, again, it's a fluid situation. Everybody has different things going on, and where one person can do a thorough cleaning and for some reason everything's okay, another person can't. It really depends on numerous factors. The condition of the bacteria in your, in my mind, the most stable place for bacteria is in a deep substrate that you don't mess with. And that would give you probably the longest long-term stability. But sorry you lost that fish. And let's see. Joe Provenzano, absolutely, we need to get Ben on a 2-drink. Guys. Oh, maybe if I see you at an event, we'll go out and have a couple beers. But I'm not sure if I want to commit those to video that will be there forever. Sometimes I see what celebrities do sometimes, and I think to myself, do you realize that someday your children are going to see that? And your grandchildren? Yeah, that's grandma. That's grandma in that video. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Janella. Okay, good. I thought you were referring to the mic, the pop on the mic. Anyway, thank you so much for that, for clarifying that. But yeah, I thought my mic was a little poppy. All right, let's see here. I'm cruising the chat. Hey, Chris, thank you for that super chat, my friend. Very appreciated. John Wallace just picked up a few blue rams for a nano tank. Very cool. What a great fish, a blue ram. And the way they move, the way they dart and stop, and their fins always seem to be on display, and just gorgeous fish. Blue rams, golden rams, gorgeous. Just your basic German ram. I mean, they're just a gorgeous fish. Chris G loves Oscars. Yep, I think once I own them, I'm going to love them too. And just people describing them as water puppies. I mean, that's all it took. Let's see here. Yeah, David, you know that Malawi trout is one of the main reasons that James was able to convince me to make the 300 an African cichlid tank, because that trout is actually going to be getting 50% larger than you see him now. Let me see if I can get him on film here. I've got the camera at an odd tilt, but let's see if we can get him on camera. Come on, trout. There he is. Yep, he's like a blue torpedo with a little bit of pink and red in the tail. Very long anal fin, trailing dorsal. Just a real stud. One of the things I look for, of course, in fish is how they eat, and that tells me a lot about their health. And I'll show you what I mean. This is the way I like fish to eat. Yeah, I want them attacking that food. I don't want to see any food make it to the bottom. I've thought about getting a Synodontis. But I'm afraid that they're not going to get much to eat, because these fish are so good at attacking just everything. Especially with this blend of food that I use, they just go insane. And when you have fish that eat like that, if there's a fish that is at all weak or intimidated, or is getting taking some shots, at night by another fish, and really super subdominant, that fish is probably just going to get worse and worse. And that's why I had to make that tough choice on that Coengi. Somebody was beating him up. Either maybe the Strigatus, because it's very similar, possibly the Autopharynx tetrastigma, or the maybe the Livingstoni. Somebody was hitting that fish, and I could see the marks on the body. So I decided to give that fish a better life and take him over to the critter. Didn't like doing that because he's a beautiful fish. The markings on the Coengi. As a matter of fact, one of the guy that I was working with at the Aquatic Critter, an experienced aquatic guy, had never seen a Coengi before. He was like, whoa. He was sort of familiar with the Vieja and certainly with the OB, But the Coingi, he was like, a Coingi? A what? Very rare fish. And so I hope to get another one that's a little bit more robust, grow him out, get him nice and fat and strong, and reintroduce him and see how that works. Now, I found something interesting, found out something interesting about eye biters, which might explain what occurred with the eye biter I had. I mean, I think he had some issues from the beginning, but that the apparently eye biters, which makes sense when you think about it, with that flat body, they don't like a lot of aquarium flow. They also like to have a few of the plants that are found in Lake Malawi. There are plants in Lake Malawi. I know the videos that you see are usually just mud and rocks and sand, but there are plants, and they remind me of like a little bit like swords. But at any rate, I was reading this one article and it said you should have an area, a patch that has some plants, and you should also have a low amount of flow in the tank. And of course, I use a 3,500 gallon per hour wave maker to you know, on a timer a few hours a day to suspend the waste and move it to the filters. So that might have been causing some stress and blowing him around in a way that he was, you know, so he could never really, between that, the output of the FX6 and the output of the 2,500 gallon per hour Shisei pump from the sump, there, he might have felt like there was no real place in the tank where he could rest, where he could actually not be blown around. So that, it's like discus, you know, you don't, and betta, you know, betta fish, you don't want to put a powerful flow in the tank because it just, they can never really kind of move the way they want to move. They're just being pushed around all the time. So just something to consider. So if I do get another eye biter, I'll probably redirect the outputs and reduce the amount of time, maybe spread out into 15 or 30-minute increments, the amount of time that the wave maker is on. So something along those lines. All right, I am cruising the chat. That's an interesting point. Salbreth, and I'm not even going to try to say your name because I'll probably destroy it, but is mentioning that the key to curb aggression with OB peacocks is to have multiple. And I haven't really had multiples. I've always only had one. And that's something maybe I'll try in the future. Maybe pick up 4 or 5 of them at one time from the shack and dump them in all at once and see what happens. And that could be interesting. That could be an interesting experiment. I know a tank full of them is very pretty. A tank full of OBs is just like a kaleidoscope of color. Michael Welsh, if you go to the Cichlid Shack website, I think he has some photos on the albino Congos. Absolutely beautiful fish. Like a luminescent color that comes through in the body. And of course, they have the beautiful shape of that tail, right, with that point and the long dorsal. Just a gorgeous fish, and definitely worth checking out. Joe Provenzano, my South and Central, love your mix. Very, very cool. And you can see here that that tank is doing extremely well. Get it on the camera here. You know, I was expecting to see more aggression. I mean, look at that Salvini. What a beauty, huh? That Jack Dempsey, she is gorgeous. The Nicaragua. Got a couple chocolate cichlids in there. You've got a AC Hecali that's cruising around, hiding in the plants. He's up there in the upper corner there. Everybody ignores him. Has no fin damage. Never gets nipped. Gets chased occasionally, like every fish does. There's more damage on the Vieja than there is on that AC Hecali. Somehow he manages to keep himself invisible. There he's coming into the screen now, right in front of the Vieja. I got that red shoulder Severum back there. I love that Jack Dempsey. Originally, his name was Tom. Found out it was a female. Changed the name to Tomasita. And Salvini, I think a Salvini is perhaps one of the most beautiful fish available. One of the most beautiful fish available in the freshwater trade is the markings on a Salvini, especially if you get a female with that nice red belly like this one. Just in my opinion, just a gorgeous fish. And yes, they are very aggressive, and if I understand it correctly, they have teeth. So as time goes on, that could be very, very interesting. Someone mentioned earlier that they're getting a jaguar cichlid, and wanted some advice. My advice is get a good pair of gloves. Yes, John, they have put on some size, and they're getting to a point where they really need to go over to the 210. That is a pretty big, that's a 90 gallon. It's pretty big. It's got kind of a square footprint, but yeah, they're ready. All right, let's see here. Going through the chat. Zen Ginger, thinking about a pond. That would be awesome. I wouldn't mind a pond, but it would freeze over in the winter. We get some really cold temperatures here in the winter. Colder than I thought. Bonnie the Bunny. Bonnie the Bunny is in the house. Had to rehome my yellow dragon blood because he was beating up several fish, including my Geyser. Spelling is probably wrong. I think I know what you mean. And yeah, sometimes rehoming, removing from the tank is the only thing. So I tell people who keep African cichlids, your best investment is a tank, another tank, a second and third tank that is ready, either for quarantine or hospital tank, but also for emergency removal, either of a very violent fish or one that's been beaten up and needs to catch their breath. So just something to keep in mind. All things fish in the house. All right. So I think we're over the hour. I've run over about 15 minutes. If you folks have anything else you'd like to say it now. Just keep it clean, please. Who knows where this cup is from? Very nice gentleman with a very thick accent. I did a collaborative video with him, interviewed him a long time ago, and just one of the sweetest guys out there. All right, so CC Custom Leatherworks, you just tuned in? You need to watch the replay, my friend. I played a video, special video for today, and so be part of what somebody was calling the replay crew, and watch the replay, please. You'll like it. I hope you like it. And Rob's Aquarium, it looks like Rob's just arrived as well. So you folks be sure to catch that replay. I hate to end off right when new people arrive, but I can't. I don't want to tie up your entire weekend. So, but I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for sitting in. And Robert Egan, do a segment on photography and video. Now you folks are hitting me with a bunch. You're peppering me with questions right when I'm about to end off. Let me see. Well, I did a short video on YouTube tips. Maybe one of the moderators can share that on if you want. Do you want to start a YouTube channel? I think it's called On Photography and Videography. Yeah, I think that would be good, but it would be for a very select audience. I've tried to do specialty videos like that in the past, and it just doesn't really get the viewers. The viewership is, but I don't know. Maybe if there's enough demand for it, maybe I would. And let's see here. Some of you are hitting me with some questions. Eddie Negretti, recently 2 coupled cichlids trying to have, yeah, it can be frustrating. You can see them going through their mating ritual and then nothing comes of it. You have to figure out why that's happening. Let's see here, Vice. Skipper's Aquarium is having a Fish Fam live auction tonight. Not sure what that is. Skipper's Aquariums. Looks like they're having a fish auction. All right. All Things Fish, Trent in W, Liberty Bell Cichlids. All you folks come in at the end. What's going on? Did you folks sleep in? Thank you for sitting in, folks. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for getting the channel over 9 million views. Holy moly. Who knew, right? Who could have predicted when I threw up that video of my 29-gallon 4 years ago? And thank you to the super chatters. Thank you to my wonderful moderators. And, of course, thank you to the those of you who are in the Garage Gang. Thank you for all that wonderful support. And I think that's it for me. And I will see you folks next Saturday. And I will consider possibly doing a once a month cichlids and suds. I kind of like that idea, just to shake things up occasionally and add a little variety. Okay, thank you, folks, and watch for some videos that are coming up. I have a couple fish profile videos, and I think it's going to be called Forgotten Fish, and it's going to be about some fish that I don't have on camera too often. I will share with you some information about those fish, and I watch for that video on Seahorse Aquarium in Dublin, Ireland. It's taken me a lot of time to get the hour and a half of video content distilled down into a video for you, but watch for that video. I think it's going to be epic. Okay, thank you so much, my friends. You are the best. And with that, let's go ahead and end off. Bye for now.